All right. Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders, Ray Millstone, who teach very well, where I learned this truth from. And salutation out there to the hopeful elect, who continue to push this word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And also shalom to the men, women, and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And today, just basically again on how these jakes out here want to be equal with the wicked, whether it be in the form of you begging for reparations, or whether it be on the form of you on the street corners marching for so-called quote-unquote equal rights, man. When really that's not a royal mentality, man. Because a royal mentality, for the lack of better words, you want to be over these people now, man. Because this devil, he had a rigorous rule for the nation of Israel, man. You have to realize the times of slavery, these devils, the Louisiana Purchase, these devils are downtrodden, the so-called Native Americans, the Gadites, the Reubenites, and plenty of other things that these devils have done over the past couple of centuries, man. And now you want to say, yeah, let's just rule together. Eventually, it's going to get to a point when this devil is going to turn on you again. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start right there in the book of Psalms. Because again, this devil, he can't hold back his sword from blood, man. This devil, he fiend to cut off the nation of Israel, and he's not going to stop until he have it. And for lack of better words, his two biggest weapons is the sword, but it's also deceit. Because hey, you look at Black Lives Matters, you look into these different movements. You know, let's help black people. A guy like Umar Johnson, Farrakhan. What's the other guy? Al Sharpton. You know what I'm saying? Guys like that, they own Esau payroll, man. They set up guys like that so they can put you further in derision, man. Instead of those guys preaching, yes, let's be better than these people. We play basketball better than them. We judge better than them. Let's be better. No, they want to say let's be like them, man. So let's start right here. This is the book of Psalms 55, verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Yes, man. And again, even Esau will come up and say, Black Lives Matter. Esau come up to Jake and say, Black Power. That's a part of his words being smoother than butter, man. That's that deceit he pushed forth. Read this again. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And at the end of the day, that's the MO of the wicked, man. Basically, to talk you down and let your guard down and ultimately stab you in your back. And that happened plenty of times. You go into the over 500 peace treaties that these devils broke with the so-called Native Americans. After the third, no, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on, fool me once. Oh, what to say? What that boy George Bush said it. He said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'll never get shamed again." But God, they didn't catch on to that proverb, man. Because again, after the fourth treaty or even 100th treaty, I wouldn't sign nothing else with this devil. But again, Esau, he was blessed with that deceitful tongue, man. With words, Esau, he's good with his words, man. That's why he's pushing forth the sense of equality. Now let's look up the word equality in the etymology. Late 14th century, evenness, smoothness, right here, uniformity. Now, when you go into the word uniformity, basically having the same uniform, coming together as one. And these devils, they're not trying to come together as one in righteousness. No, they're coming together as one in wickedness, man. But like it tells you in the book of Isaiah, let's get that real quick. In the book of Isaiah, the 5th chapter. Because they basically turn things upside down. They're making you thinking that being a Mo is brave. A 12-year-old boy getting his rod cut off. They trying to tell you that that's courage, man. That's ultimately a mental illness. So let's read this real quick in Isaiah 5 verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And again, that's the MO of this devil. He's basically trying to make wickedness righteousness, man. Again, you being brave, you supporting the XYZ LGBT, and then you support Black Lives Matter. Hey, that's that one uniform, And then ultimately, they trying to get you on that one uniform of the NWO, having that thing inside you, man. That tiny device, that C-hip. Continuing on, let's look up some more of these words. It says, in reference, amount of number from Old French, equalite, equality, pardoning. Let's jump down a little bit. It says from land, I ain't gonna even hurt myself right there. Aquiliatis, equality, similarity, likeness. So again, these devils is trying to make you be like the wicked. So when you go out there marching, asking for equality, you're basically asking for wickedness, man. That's why Black Lives Matter transformed into a transgender movement, man. That George Floyd and Trayvon Martin, the Skittles, the Skittles in Arizona march and stuff like that. Hey, at the end of the day, it was made for wickedness to creep in, man. And Jake fell for it. Let's get this in the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah 13. Salakia. This is the book of Isaiah 13. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And it reads, Isaiah 13 in verse 15, it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. And that's heavy, man. Because again, a part of you marching for equal rights, you basically asking Esau to be your friend, man. I know a couple years ago, it was Black Lives Matter and the Proud Boys. They had like an altercation, and Jake got in the middle and started hugging the Edomite. Man, why you don't love me? Why you don't love, you basically asking for a snake to be your friend, man. Which ultimately is gonna lead until you being beaten, man. And that poison again inside you, man. That's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. It's nothing that you can do to make the so-called white man be your best friend, man. The only thing you can be is be an underling to him. And that's what he wants you to be at, man. That's why instead of this devil saying, yeah, be better than us, these devils saying, just be equal unto us, man. So let's go ahead and go back to this word on equality. Again, it says likeness, similarity. Because again, if you join unto this devil, you're like him, and you're going to get the same judgments as him too. Let's go right here to the word equal, identical, in amount, extent, or portion. Yes, man. Because ultimately, you putting that uniform of Esau, that three-piece suit, Continuing on right here, Latin Aquilius uniform, identical, equal. Again, you're making yourself an Edomite, and that's what Jake do, man. That's the standard here in the Western Hemisphere, even all across the world, man. But especially with the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. It's certain Dominican republics that's damn. It's like certain Simeonites, which those are the people from the Dominican Republic. It's certain of those people that as dark as me. It's a me no negro, when you black as hell, man. But now these devils, what they do, they push a stigmatism on the so-called Jakes, man, on the so-called melanated people, man. Even though we don't look at skin color, but even words like black and white played on our people's psyche today, man. That's why, you have a cousin, or you have an auntie. You know what I'm saying? I know every Jake heard this. You have a cousin or an auntie. He said, I'm tired of these niggas. I'm going to get me a white man, Like it's going to be any better, man. But, how the end dub is. But I got an article right here from the Yale University. It says the social equality of whites and blacks. And that's the spirit. Why they didn't mention the so-called Asians. Or the so-called, Japhites, man. The so-called people in Hawaii, man. Why they talking about the whites and blacks? Because those are the two main characters upon the planet Earth. They're not talking about the Indians, Elam or the Ishmaelites over there in the Middle East. No, they're talking about the so-called whites and blacks, Jacob and Esau, man. Continuing on, it says, when the National Association of Advancement of Colored People was organized, it seemed to us that the subject of social equality between races was not one that we need touch off officially, whether our private opinions might be. Now they talking about the NAACP, but when you go into the NAACP, hey, them is just people doing the works of Esau. Al Sharpton, Rick Ross had a line in his song. He says Jesse Jackson is on these people payroll, and these are top members in the NAACP, man. You know, but again, those people's job is to put you further in derision, man. Like the scriptures say, the blind lead the blind; they shall both fall into a ditch. You know what I'm saying? Because for lack of better words, you listening to these celebrities telling you about equality, telling you about let's be on the same level as this devil. Ultimately, they're putting you further in that ditch, man, further in darkness. Continuing on, it says, we announce clearly our object as being the political and civil rights of Negroes, and this seemed to us, a sufficiently clear explanation of our work. Right here, we soon found, however, certain difficulties was the right to attend a theater, a civil or a social right. Is a hotel a private or public institution? What should be our stand as to public travel or public celebrations or public dinners to discuss social uplift? And above all, should we be silent when laws were proposed taking away from a white father all legal responsibility for his colored child? It ain't for lack of better words. This talking about back then because it was written in 1920. So they was talking about when we couldn't go to the same restrooms, we can go, and you thought that something was going to change, man. You thought something was going to change when we can both sit in the front of the bus. You thought something was going to change when we both can share the same bathroom. But Jake is still getting shot down, man. You know, this haven't stopped nothing. So you trying to be equal with the devil, guys like Martin Luther King, you trying to be on the same level as the devil, is not working, man. The ultimate solution is to have this devil under our subjection, because we shouldn't follow this devil. Let's go right here to 2 Corinthians. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 14. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right here. Because ultimately Esau, he don't believe in the scriptures. You know, he don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. But the Lord said, be not unequally yoked to him. Right here, let's go to the 8th definition. To have fellowship with one who is not equal. What 2 Corinthians 6 and 4, where the apostles is forbidding Christians to have intercourse with idolaters. And we are Christians, man. We are the anointed ones, the Mashiachim. But these people in the world, they're idolaters. They want you to continue to celebrate Christmas. They don't want you to return into your power. So Apostle Paul was pushing the point, don't be unequally yoked to them. Don't be with them, man. Don't rub elbows with the wicked. Because ultimately, that wickedness will rub off on you. Read this again. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with wickedness? So it can't mix, man. You can't be equal to Esau because oil and water don't mix, man. You know? Continuing on. It says, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? So it's nothing to talk about. And we can't talk about equality with Esau, because ultimately it's going to get to a point, man, you don't know how to rule. It's our turn. That's what it's going to get to a point. There's no compromises or nothing. We'll let you have a spot in Texas and we can get, no, it's not going to be like that, man. The only solution is this devil have to be under our subjection. Continuing on in verse 15. In what concord have Mashiach with Baal, or what part have he that believeth with an infidel. Because, hey, one thing, these devils, they don't believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, and they don't fear Yahweh Shem Shai, man. You know? Again, it was the Black Lives Matter. Now it's the LGXYZ. It's BLM. Then it's LGXYZBT. And now it's a P in there. And a Z. Which that's sickness, man. You know? But again, the Lord said don't be around those guys. Verse 16. And what agreement? And again, you can't agree with this devil, man. If we sit down and have a talk with Esau, we're not going to agree with him, man. Because he's still going to try to spray chemtrails. He's still going to try to feed out GMOs, make people live on top of each other, not give you no land. This is a selfish guy that's ruling, man. So you should not want to be equal with him. Let's get something real quick. Because again, how Esau worked, he worked with trends. You know, he tried to sit down and talk to you and say, yes, this is cool now. The end thing now is eating bugs and GMOs just to do climate change. This Exodus 23 and verse 2. It says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Yes, right there. You should not follow the ways of Esau to do evil, man. Why? Because the ways of Esau leads unto death, man. The ways of Esau leads unto you dying. So that's why the Lord said, don't be with him. Don't follow him. Don't go after that quote unquote equality way. Because the equality way leads unto you being more into subjection. Because again, this article that I just read from Yale University, it came in 1920. And the guy, he was complaining about, a white man having sex with a black girl and leaving the child or turn around. And that could have been a Jake that did that, just to throw that out there. But even though not being in the same bathrooms and not going to the same hotels, but you can go to the same hotel with Esau. You can do same things there, but you still get called a nigga, man. LeBron James, the best basketball player on the planet Earth right now. Guess what? They still wrote nigga on his damn lawn, man. Which shows you no matter how much you get in this place, it was always meant for you to be, for not to make it. That's why I said this is not your rest. So let's go ahead and go back to the 2 Corinthians. You shouldn't look the rest for this place, man. You shouldn't look for Esau to rest. That's why it says, thou shalt not follow thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, man. Because you following for Esau, you think you doing this and doing this is going to lead to your comfort, but it's going to lead into more bullshit coming upon you. Let's go right here, 2 Corinthians 6:16. And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. And as the Most High have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. And that's what Esau don't want you to do, man. Because if you join yourself together with this guy, he wants you to call him the Most High, man. He don't want you to return unto Yahweh Shem Shai, man. That's why I says verse 17, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. So again, if you equal with somebody or you're similar to somebody, then you're not separate, man. If you're similar into the guy you work with, the SoundCloud rapper, guess what? You're not separate. But once you're separate or holding from somebody, for lack of better words, is ranking involved. It's a clear distinction. Read this again. It says, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. These devils want these people, because again, I'm talking about 2/3 of our people too, because 2/3 of our people are devils. They want you to touch that unclean thing. They want you to join hand in hand with the little white boys and the little white girls, the Edomites, man. They want you to be like that, man. But at the same time, if you be like that, you're going to get the same judgment as them. Let's go to Proverbs 11. This is the book of Proverbs. Salakia. This is the book of Proverbs 11, jumping down to verse 21. It says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So that's why the Lord said, be not unequally yoked with them, man. Or touch not the unclean thing. Because if you touch them, you're hand by hand with Esau. You're going to get the same judgment as him. And we know that his judgment is ultimately going to be destruction. Let's read this again. Proverbs 11 and verse 25. It's like verse 21. It says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. And again, it was a clear distinction between the wicked and the righteous, man. Let's continue on. 2 Corinthians 6 in verse 17 again. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So this is the only way that you're going to be acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Shai, man. Not joining yourself together with this guy. Basically cleansing your mind and cleansing your ways, putting off that old man and putting on that new man. This is how the Lord is going to receive you. But what do it start with? It starts with you separate from this wicked world, not being equal with this world or try to join this truth with this world. Because a part of you wanting to stay in America and being an Israelite, that's a part of you touching the unclean thing. You just wash yourself. You just cleaned yourself up. You got a brand new white outfit on. But now you just went out there and jumped in some mud because because you want Esau to be saved, or you want to eat pork. Or you want to commit adultery, man. Or you want to continue to get lineups. Little things like that. Separating from things like that. That's a part of you having a clear distinction that you're not with this place. Like the elder made a bad point this weekend. If somebody kick in the door and just put, and just say, yeah, first thing, I'm not with this guy. I don't even know who this guy is. He just broke in my house. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it's going to happen, man. If you join together with this devil, or you in the car with this devil, you're going to both get laid down, man. No questions asked whether you was with him knowingly or unknowingly, man. Because people can subconsciously bring that American spirit in the truth, man. So yeah, I can just a quick little video. I pray it was edifying. I want to say call Halayim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakodash Shalom DTA and the Bob Bow.